Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to sit down and catch up with you guys, try some new makeup. I have a bunch of products to share, including the new Skkn by Kim makeup. And then I just wanted to chat with you guys because I haven't been posting. We're at the tail end of the remodel. I know that I've been gone, honestly, a lot last year. I could not have foreseen what was going to happen once I bought this house. It's been a roller coaster, but I think it's all gonna be worth it. But I am ready to get back to it. You can see that my background is different. It's just a little bit of a change. I hope that my lighting is okay. But yeah, today I just wanna catch up with you guys, try a bunch of new makeup. If I even remember how to do makeup beyond just like every day, we will see. Of course, I will link everything that I used today down below in my description box, as well as what I can on screen. If you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. And if you enjoy trying new makeup or just chatty get ready with me, give this video a thumbs up and let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so I've got you zoomed in. I wanna put some lip oil on because my lips are so dry. I did also have to make a disclaimer, which I know a lot of people hate, but Ian is actually finishing the tile in the bathroom that's right by my filming room. My hands are so dry. I actually have thin set in my cuticles that I can't get out. Yesterday, we spent a good 10 hours tiling this floor because there's a step in the bathroom and neither of us have ever done a step, and it was really a long process, so everything on me is sore. All that to say, the saw is running downstairs. He's gonna be in the room next to me, and again, he's going to be like putting tile down. So if you hear that, truly, I'm just gonna try to ignore it. Usually I wouldn't film like this, but you know, it is what it is. But I wanna go in with this Summer Fridays lip oil. I got the color Pink Cloud. Is that what it's called? Yeah, and I really like this formula. It's definitely not as thick as some other formulas on the market. And I wish I had a little more color, but I've been reaching for it a lot. I had it downstairs because I purchased it with same-day delivery. I am so guilty, but the same-day delivery with Sephora is dangerous. And so I had this little bag down there of these things that I purchased, and I never brought it upstairs because I just kept grabbing for this during the day when I felt like my lips were just looking a little bit like worn off or dry, and I've really been enjoying it. It has a subtle, like minty sort of feel, but I don't really notice a scent. I don't know, I don't notice a scent on it. I wish, again, that they had just more colors and more pigment. So I just wanted to demo this for you guys, but also just put some hydration on my lips because honestly, everything on me is dry. Like my hands are literally so sore. If you've ever done tile, it is honestly really hard on your hands. So I'm just kind of beat up right now, but we're just gonna go with it and act like, you know, everything's normal. All right, so next I wanna start on an eye look. And I ended up picking up a few products from the Skkn by Kim relaunch. KKW Beauty closed down a while ago, and then she came out recently saying that she was going to have her makeup under her skincare brand. So I was really excited because I loved the lip products in particular from KKW. It was just the formula on the lip liners was impeccable. The shades, I mean, really just were so beautiful. So I'm actually excited about this, but I do understand that Kim Kardashian herself and, you know, the Kardashians, Jenners in general, are a very polarizing topic. I reach for nudes and neutral eyeshadows, so it kind of does scream to me in particular. So I ended up getting the eyeshadow palette, and then I did end up getting 3 lip liners and 2 lipsticks, which I will demo as we go through the video. But I did pay $50 for this. I know that people were saying $50 for this. I mean, again, she's kind of like a Sephora price point, and so she's not gonna come out with drugstore pricing because she wants to set herself as like a mid-range price point. So I'm not surprised at this price. So this is the classic matte eyeshadow palette. It's $50. I did end up getting free shipping. I'm not sure what the threshold was, but my order total was $180, and then I got free shipping. I got $12.64 tax, I ended up paying $192.64, and that was for 6 items. So for me, it's very comparable to Sephora pricing. Now I know my friend Cheryl, if you guys don't know Makeup by Cheryl, she had some issues with the shipping just being crazy expensive, which again, she lives in Canada, so I'm not familiar with that. There's duties, you know, it does cost more to ship to Canada. I know this because I've shipped her things, but it was really crazy, like $30 shipping, and I think there was like a $250 or $260 threshold to get free shipping. So that's a whole thing you might want to look into if you're not buying from the States. But I will say the shipping was quick, and usually KKW products, I would say 7 days, maybe 10 business days. And I want to say I had this like 5 days, maybe not even. I mean, it was like super quick. I got a shipping notification. In 2 days it was here. It shipped FedEx and everything was fine. So that's my overall experience. The checkout was fine. Everything about it was very easy. Now let's get into the palette. So this palette, it says it's made in USA, assembled in the Dominican Republic. You do get 12 shades, and this is all matte. So this is what the box looks like. I mean, honestly, it's just kind of that very basic sort of vibe, which we all know that that's kind of the Kim vibe. And then the actual palette, it looks very similar. I do like the color of the palette. I'm telling you, if there's thin set in my nails, we're just not going to talk about it, okay? Just know that I know, okay? So this is what the palette looks like, and then you turn it over, and on the back, you do have the numbers. I think she has them numbered, yep, just 1 through 12. I will say that when I opened this palette, is not for me, like let's say like a Patrick Ta or something like that, because this is just much more basic in terms of packaging. It doesn't wow me, and I'm not like, ooh, that looks expensive. But I'm willing to overlook it if the colors and the formula is something that I really enjoy. Now, people were saying that this reminds them of the Makeup by Mario. So this is my Makeup by Mario. I have to say this is one of my most used palettes, if not my most used, because most days if I'm gonna do eyeshadow, I'm gonna do like 1 or 2 colors and then a wing with powder eyeshadow. I usually don't even use shimmers in my everyday life. So in terms of the colors, I will throw some swatches up for you guys, but the KKW or the Skkn looks like it has a few more gray leaning, like specifically these two, and I would say this one. And then the Mario just overall seems warmer. So here are both of the palettes. You can see they both kind of have a good gradient that I feel like they both would work on a variety of skin tones, because you do have the black and then you have, you know, the deeper browns, but it goes all the way up to those lighter shades. I will put swatches on the screen, but for me, yes, they're similar, but it doesn't matter to me because I'm a makeup enthusiast. I'm a makeup lover. I truly just love trying new formulas. So I probably have all of these shades, you know, 100 times in my collection, but every palette is different, every formula is different. So for me, I'm just excited to try it. So I want to start on an eye look. I don't really know what I want to do because I haven't been doing eye makeup, really much makeup other than like powder and mascara and lip gloss, really for months. So I'm trying to figure out where I want to start. All right, so I've got you zoomed in. I started on an eye look and poked myself in the eye with my brush. My eyes started watering. I've had really sensitive eyes lately, so I had to just restart, put my base on again. So if my eye looks a little bit irritated, that's why. I've been having so many issues only when I'm wearing my contacts, and it started this past summer, so it could just be, you know, all the dust and everything from renovation, but yeah, my eyes have been super sensitive. So, okay, let's regroup. I'm gonna actually go a different way. I'm gonna start out with this gray shade. It's the lightest cool tone in the palette. So this formula is pretty powdery, so just keep that in mind. But I'm gonna use this pretty low here, just to start. And then I'm just taking a clean brush and I'm gonna soften this. Grab a little bit more of that color. Can definitely tell you that the Mario palette doesn't have a shade like this. And so far, this seems like a more pigmented formula than the Mario. Mario is pretty buildable, which I could see people not loving, but it's really nice for beginners or everyday. This one has more oomph just right off the bat, so it kind of just depends on your preference. Next, I'm gonna go into this deep shade right here. Definitely leaning cool. And I'm just putting that low, and I wanna blend it into the other shade. So once I've placed that down, just softening with that first brush. I'm gonna go ahead and dip into the lightest shade in the palette, and I'm just gonna use a flat brush. And I just wanna pack this right down the middle. And then I'm just gonna use first brush, but also my fingers just to soften it a little bit on the edges. Next, I'm gonna grab the black shade, and I'm just gonna use a really small winged liner brush and just use this right on my lash line. I found that using a stamping motion usually works best. All right, so I think I'm gonna leave the top of the lids there. I'm just gonna try to wipe away some of this fallout. I always get fallout in my lower lash line when I use a shadow, a powder shadow as liner. It doesn't matter what brand, it always just gets in my lower lash line. If you have any tips for that, let me know, but I've noticed that other people don't seem to have this problem, or I don't notice it when I'm watching other people online. For me, it just never fails. Okay, next I wanna try out this new Too Faced Naturally Better Than Sex mascara. This was sent to me in PR, and I was wondering what the difference is. The only thing that I can see is that it says it's a 98% naturally derived formula, if that's something that matters to you. For me, not really, but you know, the whole clean makeup natural thing seems to be in. Looks like it has the same applicator and this sort of like hot pink packaging. Let me go ahead and test this out. I kind of don't have high hopes just because sometimes when you hear like natural, you're thinking, wait, what? I want my lashes to be as big and voluminous as possible. Oh. Okay, I'm a little bit surprised here just off my first few swipes. Interesting. I guess it doesn't market itself as natural lashes. It just says that it has a natural formula. It's not bad. Way better than I was expecting though. Doesn't seem to be getting clumpy, and it feels like it has a nice glide to it. So this is what one coat looks like. I feel like it looks pretty good. I'm gonna go in and try to layer a little bit here. All right, so this is what 2 coats of this Naturally Better Than Sex mascara looks like. I actually was pleasantly surprised. I feel like it didn't get clumpy. I didn't find it to be messy. The only thing that I could see just in my initial thoughts would be that I don't know if this is gonna hold a curl, because I feel like my lashes are already starting to drop a little bit. So I wanna let this dry, and I'm gonna add a couple of my favorite Kiss Falscara lashes. I just love these. No glue, it's just super easy. I might just add 1, maybe 2. This is in the Glamorous style. I am obsessed with these. They're just so user-friendly and just very easy. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop a couple of these on the outer corner. Okay, so I wanna go ahead and move on to complexion. I'm gonna use my Freck moisturizer. This one is beat up. I need to get a new one when the Sephora sale rolls around, which it's gonna be a couple months, so I'm hoping I can make it. I've gone through so many of these. And for primer, I have a new one from One Size. This was sent to me in PR. This is the Secure the Glow Tacky Hydrating Primer. Capsulated technology that visibly boosts radiance, giving a smoother makeup application for a glowy look all day. So there's a lot going on here. It says that this is good for dryness, and skin type it's good for is normal dry combination. So it looks like if you have oily skin, this may not be the best. So the packaging is really pretty. I don't know if I got a cap in PR or I lost it. It's definitely possible because honestly, I can't find half of my stuff right now. So this is what it looks like. It has a really thick gel feel. So I typically like a pore primer, but this said tacky. So I'm going in with another pump. So 3 pumps total. I'm not feeling any tackiness, and I don't think I smell a scent. Feels pretty lightweight and silky. I don't know if I see any radiance off the bat, but I want to give it a second to see if it starts to have that tack. Although I'm not feeling anything even now, like on my hands. Let me know if you've tried this, if you feel any sort of tackiness. No, it's not anything like the e.l.f. or the Milk makeup. It feels like a soft, just hydrated feel though, so definitely not as sticky. But I'm curious to see how foundation's gonna go over this. So I wanted to use a foundation that I'm, familiar with, because otherwise I'm not gonna be able to figure out what's going on with this primer. So I'm just gonna mix my L'Oreal Infallible, which I love, with my Armani Luminous Silk, just to give me the best of both worlds. So I'm just using a beauty blender. There's a fly literally ruining my life right now. I know that sounds dramatic, but I'm serious. The weather is not as cold, which can't be mad about that. But with that, we've been dealing with cluster flies. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. I hadn't until this house, but essentially they're not attracted by food or anything like that. They just like cluster together and essentially just latch on to a house, and they drive me nuts. I can't figure out where they're coming in from. We have had obviously a lot of construction, doors opening and closing a million times a day. The flies had calmed down since it got really cold, and now they're back with vengeance. So, all right, so my foundation is on. I don't notice anything different. That's just a combo that I use quite often, especially the L'Oreal, and then I'll add in something glowy like the Armani. I'll have to see just as I film, and I'll leave a comment pinned down below telling you if I feel like I had, extra hydration or if I got oily. I am noticing that I think I need to part ways with my sponge because I feel like it's starting to almost flake, and I kept trying to get these little specks off of my face. But I wanted to demo this product that I just picked up recently, and I've really been loving it. This is the Makeup Revolution Eye Bright Corrector in light medium. I picked this up, I can't remember, I think Target, either Target or Ulta, and I've really been loving this. It reminds me of the Becca, but much more affordable. So I just take a little bit on a brush. This is the brush that's in the set from Amazon. I will link it down below. These brushes are incredible for your under eye, and it's like super affordable. You get like 3 for like $10 or something like that. So I'm just gonna take this and apply, let me zoom you in, right where I have darkness on my under eye. So it has that glowy effect, very much like the Becca, and it has a little bit of a tacky feel. I just find it to be nice and brightening, and it's also very hydrating. So this is what my under eyes look like with the brightener. You can see that they're really hydrated. I do think it's very, very similar to the Becca. So I wanna go in on top, and I'm just gonna use a concealer that I've been really loving lately. I feel like there's not really any new concealers. This is the Yensa Super Serum Silk Concealer, and I have the shade Light 2. This is a little bit dark for me most days, so it's a good time to use it right now when I have my tan on. So I'm just going to apply this like so. And to blend this out, I'm gonna use another one of the brushes from that Amazon concealer brush kit. So I find this to be hydrating but good coverage. doesn't have a heavy feel, but it also gives me the coverage that I need, and I find it to be quite smoothing again. So I'm just gonna kind of make this sharp over here, if you can see, just to kind of clean up any shadow. All right, next I wanna go in and set the face and add some dimension. I feel like I'm looking really, really just tan. So I'm gonna go in with my Lunar Beauty powder. This is my favorite. I actually went through an entire jar. That's how much I love this. And then I ordered 2 more. So I use the shade Light. This is just the most smoothing powder I have ever tried. I honestly cannot get over this. I have not reached for my Huda Beauty since I tried this. I do have a code with them if you do wanna get some money off. It is just, I think it's BabsBeauty, but 10 out of 10 recommend. So I'm just going to pat out any creasing, and then I'm just gonna press in with my sponge. Usually I use a puff, but since I have my sponge on hand, this is just such a light texture, which I didn't think that I would like, because a lot of times the really, really light texture powders are almost like those really silicone feeling powders that kind of give you like that chalky look, but this does not do that at all. It is super, super unique. So I do apply pretty heavily, especially in my T-zone, and then I just wipe away. It just erases your texture. Pores, everything. It is magical. I cannot recommend this enough. I will not be without it. So every time I use it, I'm just like, almost like amazed again. Okay, so I wanna go ahead and finish off the eyes. I'm just gonna jump back into the Skkn palette. And I think I'm going to mix these 2 shades, the black and that deep brown, probably mostly the deep brown. And I just want to press this on the lower lash line. So I wanna connect it to what I did on the top of the eyes. So just applying it kind of haphazardly and then going back into the palette. And I'm gonna mix these 2 shades, and I wanna blend it very slightly. Really don't wanna go too crazy though. I'm trying to decide if I should take it all the way across. I actually might just lightly. And then I am gonna take my Nabla liner, and I'm going to line the waterline. Woo! Liner is, I mean, it just does things, right? I usually don't wear it, but here we are. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing on this other eye. I don't have a new bronzer, so I'm just gonna use an old favorite. This is the Private Island from Fenty Beauty. It's a little bit of a darker bronzer, plus I want a matte bronzer with this look. Okay, so for cheeks, I wanted to try out this Natasha Denona palette. I think her newest launch, I wanna say it was this one, and then she did have like a I Need a Nude little mini highlighter blush all in one. I purchased that one, but this one was sent to me. This is the Berry Pop Cheek Trio. So we have a cream blush, tinted glow cream base, and then a Dream Glow powder. So I thought I would try this out. Ooh, that's the highlighter, swatches beautifully. I don't know if I'm gonna use this today just because I have a lot of powder on. Wow, here is the cream blush. Her cream blushes are kind of like a powdery feel. These swatch really pretty. So I wanna go in with the cream blush and the highlighter. So I went ahead and dipped into the palette. Not sure how punchy this is. Okay, I would say pretty pigmented. Maybe not the best with this makeup, but you know what? We're just trying it out. I will say that this is a different color for Natasha, so I can't be mad at that because I feel like a lot of times she does a lot of the same like coral pinky tones. I mean, I definitely went a little bit over the top, but I'm just gonna go over that with my sponge where I had the foundation. Still pretty intense, but you know, we'll make it work. Next, I wanna go in and try out this highlighter. It's swatched really beautifully. And she does have some incredible highlighters. She kind of changes formulas, so sometimes I get a little bit confused trying to keep up with what formula is in what palette. So this one is not powdery at all. It almost has like that creamy feel. I'm applying more than I should just so you can see. I think it's really pretty. I don't think that this is, you know, the best with cool toned kind of gray matte eye look, but trying new makeup it is. Oh my God, a fly just literally like catapulted across me. You know, welcome back to my channel. So I'm gonna go ahead and put mascara on my lower lashes, and then we'll get into the lip products from Miss Kimberly. So let's go ahead and get into that. So I went ahead and picked up 3 of the lip liners. I used to love her original lip liner formula, so I'm anticipating really liking these. Now I got Nude 5, Nude 8, and Nude 7. I have to admit that I was really busy the day these launched. I had, you know, contractors in my house. They were finishing up some work they were doing in our final bathroom. By the way, it looks stunning. I will put a little bit of footage up there just to show you progress, but I can't wait until it's done. We're like almost there. But all that to say, the day that these launched, I had a lot of decisions to make. So I felt rushed to check out, and I didn't know if it was gonna sell out, so I just kind of added them to my cart. I think these were $22 each, which to me is pretty standard. Now I wanna go ahead and swatch these for you. Looking at some of the other videos I saw, I'm almost wondering if I should have gotten some darker shades, but again, I just felt rushed. So it's the standard pencil formula, like the wood pencil formula. So I'm interested to see, but this first shade, okay, it feels pretty creamy. This is Nude 5. They all seem to pull pretty cool. So this is Nude 7. This one looks like it's a little bit warmer, whereas Nude 5 is definitely cooler, but they feel very creamy. And then let's do Nude 8. Yeah, you know what? These look so similar, which again, I know in the promo photos, they all looked very similar, but even swatching these here, I wish I would have gotten like the Nude 12 or 13. Again, I can't recall. These are just so similar that had I known and really had the time to actually like compare them, I would have gotten something a little bit different. So I think today I'm gonna go in with the Nude 7. Okay, so initially this doesn't feel like dry. Let's say like a standard pencil. Typically I'm thinking like ABH or MAC being the driest, but ABH is a formula I really like, but it definitely has a tug to it. This feels a little more creamy, but it's not as creamy as like the ColourPop. So it's kind of a good medium. This color still is reading quite cool to me. Okay, so this is what the lip liner in Nude 7 looks like, but I wanna go in next with the lipstick. So I have the shade Nude 1, which was the lightest, and then also Nude 3. So let's go ahead and swatch Nude 1. So this one definitely has that cool undertone. I was expecting kind of like a MAC Myth, but this is reading more gray to me. And then Nude 3, I might use this to start. Nude 3 has definitely more warmth, kind of like a pinky nude or peachy nude. Now in terms of the texture, this feels a little bit creamier, but it still has a matte finish. So let's go in. This is Nude 3. So this is definitely a matte lipstick, but it doesn't feel dry. It just has, I don't know, it's kind of thick. It has a little bit of a tug to it. So I feel like it gives it a little bit of that creaminess. I'm gonna go in with Nude 1. So this one is much lighter. Well, not much, but a little bit. I think what's throwing me off is really more so the lip liner with this. It just feels too blanked out to me. I would definitely reach for a deeper color just to sort of go over the corners and kind of give me that dimension. I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm feeling it like I was before. Actually, I know I'm not, but again, it could just be the fact that I have like bright rosy cheeks with the lip, with the eyes. So I don't know how I'm feeling. What do you guys think? You'll have to let me know down below. Okay, and to finish off my makeup, I did want to go back into the highlighter in the Natasha palette. And I just want to use this to brighten up. Might just be better to use my finger here. And I think I'm going to add a little bit on the inner corner. I'm quickly jumping back into the palette and I'm taking this light, kind of nude tone shade, and I'm just gonna use this on my lid just to kind of tie in how tan I am right now. Just more of a like warm shade. Okay, and to finish off, I just wanna add in some setting spray just because I used a ton of powder. So this is the Glow Milk Mist from the Beauty Crop. I usually would use my Cali Ray, but I just want something a little bit more hydrating. All right guys, so here's my finished makeup look, trying out new products, and I have some thoughts. Full disclosure, I did go in with a little bit of my Makeup by Mario lip liner in Travis. I just could not take how blanked out my lips looked, and I still am not totally sold, so we'll get to that. But let's just go over our thoughts. Starting out with the Summer Fridays, I already said that I love this. I think it's a cute, everyday, sort of pick-me-up type of lip oil. It's not super thick, so if you don't like that thick, goopy feel, you may really like this. Just gives me a little bit of a refresh. And then moving on to the Skkn eyeshadow palette. I think the packaging, like I said before, is very basic. I do think that there's a good variation in here. I like that you can go cool like I did today, and then the other shades really are just like warm neutrals. I do think that this is a powdery formula, so it can be a little bit messy, but overall I think it's pigmented. I didn't have any issues blending it. I feel like this would be a good palette for those of you that like the colors of the Makeup by Mario but felt that it was just too buildable and you kind of had to build it up too much or work too hard to get the payoff that you want. This is just pigmented right off the bat. I used it on a set lid and it would be even more pigmented if you didn't set your lid. It's nothing different than what we already have in our collections, but if we talk about like most used and good quality, good formulation, I do think this is a really nice palette. I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised with this Too Faced mascara. I really think that this was nice. I feel like it actually did give me some volume and length very, very effortlessly. So I'll have to keep trying this out. I'm not so much into the natural ingredients sort of marketing, but you know, the mascara performed pretty decently. In terms of my thoughts on the One Size primer, I think the packaging is really nice. This had a nice gel sort of serum-like feel to it. I don't get a tacky feel at all, like at all, initially applying it or after it's been sitting for like a minute or two. So I don't get that, but I do get like this soft, sort of pillowy hydration. I do feel like my skin looks nice and I don't notice that it was like heavy under my foundation or added any texture. It didn't smooth my pores, but also did not enhance them. This may be something that I would use as like a added layer of hydration, but really I don't know about glowy. I don't think that my skin looked particularly glowy. It didn't have like a radiance to it because there is really no, you know, glimmer, shimmer, nothing like that in here. And it's not overly emollient and heavy. So I don't know, it might be a good option for those of us that have like combo skin, but just need hydration without that greasy feel. As I mentioned before, I'm really enjoying this Makeup Forever under eye brightener. It really, to me, is very, very similar to the Becca, but much more affordable. So I would definitely recommend checking that out. And then I am loving this Yensa concealer. Just has a nice coverage, very smooth, works well with powder, but also gives you that hydration. I definitely need a lighter shade because even today with like my super deep tan, I would just like a little bit more brightening overall, but definitely loving that. And I am loving the Lunar Beauty powder. I feel like I've gone on about it at length, but truly it is the most smoothing powder, so I highly recommend that one. Moving on to the Natasha Denona Berry Pop Cheek Palette. I feel like this performed beautifully. I like that this is a different color, as I said. I felt like this was super easy to apply. I put it over a ton of powder and I had no issues. The highlighter is also very smooth and it has a high shine to it, but it doesn't feel flaky or chunky. It would be a good option if you have texture. Even when you feel it, it's got like a nice slip to it. I'll still have to test out the middle shade here, but those are just not my favorite overall because I am a powder fanatic. But I think this is really pretty. I'd like to see her come out with maybe like 5 of these in just different colors, like a terracotta, a purple tone, maybe a red tone. Give us some more blushes in that formula because I do think it's a beautiful formula. It's very easy to work with. And I just feel like we've seen too much of the same color. So this is a good first step. And lastly, my thoughts on the Skkn by Kim lip products. I'm not as wowed as I was expecting to be. I do feel like the lip liners are good quality, like creamy, very easy to apply. So I don't really have any issues with the actual formula, but the colors just are pulling way too gray. It's almost like Melt Foxy, which is one of my favorites. But again, I don't wanna wear that every single day. And the fact that I got 3 different shades and they all look so similar and just very gray toned kind of has me scratching my head. Now the lipsticks, I'm starting to get that line, which it can happen. I call it the butthole lips, you know what I mean? But it's not a pretty sight, but it does happen. So it's not like a deal breaker for me. The formula again feels fine. It feels nice. I feel like the Nude 3 is definitely my favorite in terms of what I tried today. Because these are all looking so similar, I don't think that I will be running back to buy any more. The only thing I could see myself buying would be like the Nude 12, or I can't remember if it was like Nude 14, one of the deeper lip liners. Overall, a little bit disappointed in Kimmy. I don't feel like it's a bad launch, but I'm not feeling like it's living up to the hype of the lip liners and lipsticks that she had with KKW. And again, this is her first launch, so I'm assuming she's gonna come out with the pinks and the mauves and all of that stuff. But initially, I'm feeling like these colors are just way too similar. And I don't think a lot of people are really gonna find them that flattering. So with that being said, I'm just a little bit iffy on this launch and definitely not feeling as excited as I was when I initially purchased the products. All right, guys, so I think that is everything for this trying new makeup. I just wanted to dip my toe back in, get back to filming and chat with you guys, although I didn't chat that much. I feel like I'm a little rusty, but I hope you guys got to see some close-ups and demos of products that maybe you were interested in. Let me know if you've tried any of these and what your thoughts are respectfully, because I know people get a little bit, you know, heated with the Kim K situation. So let me know your thoughts if you picked up anything, what you're thinking, what you thought of the way the products applied. But of course, I will link everything that I used today down below in my description box. If you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. As always, thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.